Fill her up.
You're listening to the Gas Digital Network.
Oh, it's a little salty.
Why is it so salty? What did you have, whitefish?
No, it was the balsamic. I said just a little vinegar. Hold on, let me have a bite.
Oh, don't do that. We both talk about how our parents make noises with their mouths. Oh my God, it's so...
We should make like a song, and like that should be like... No, what do you have special? Ugh. Grilled salmon with no grill marks. What? I want to boost my only owner. You know, something like...
I love that so much. Welcome to Disgusting Hawk. I hope you guys had a great week. I am so tired. I've been traveling a lot. I don't mean to complain, but you know, it's funny. I don't even know how I do it. I'm not kidding, because I'm not young. It was a lot easier to do this, I have to be honest with you, in my 30s and 40s. And I don't hide my age. You know, I guess some friends say to me, like, I'm amazed that you say how old you are, you know, that I'm 68 and that I don't feel ashamed about it. But I mean, it's hard to hide. You know, I wear a diaper. I have a walker and I have shit myself on stage. So it's like, it's hard to hide that sometimes because I do act outs and I do characters and sometimes I scream on stage. So like when diarrhea, you know, comes out, and the whole front row sees it, it's hard to hide that. It's hard to hide the smell. So what am I going to do? Just be like, oh, I'm 43. So I can't, I you know, it's not easy to hide my age. So anyway, it helps that I have 46 kids and most of them are under 4. So anyway, let's move on. I am tired. I've been flying a ton. I've been traveling all over and I love what I do and I love doing these shows, but it's been a lot and my neck hurts and I've been rubbing my shoulders and neck on everything. I kind of look like a dog. I've been humping walls and furniture. It is in my shoulder and neck area, but I also do rub my crotch on everything. So I don't know what that's about. I don't have pain in that area. I have needs in that area, but I don't have pain in that area. So sometimes I'll rub my neck and shoulder on the corner of a wall, and then I'll slip in the crotch on a chair when no one's looking. Or people can look. At this point, I don't care anymore. I don't even care who sees me do what. I don't care about much because the world is ending. That's the point of this podcast this week, is to tell all of you an uplifting story about how the world is ending. Because look at what's going on. No, I'm joking. I mean, I am, but I'm not. It's not ending now. It'll end way after we're gone and my children are gone. But it's ending in the next... It's definitely going to end in the next 100 years, don't you think? I mean, look what's going on. Nuts. You can go up and just hit someone. There's wars. I mean, what is happening? By the way, fucking Elvis is dead. JFK is dead. I haven't gone to the bathroom in days. And I think my mother is right. It's because I'm enraged and I'm holding on to the poop. Jews call it duty. No one else says that, but just so you know, there are Jewish people listening to this laughing right now. We say duty. Not all of us, but we call it duty. Like my grandmother, when she would pick my sister and I up to go to the diner for lunch, she would say,
Does either one of you have to make a duty before you get into my car to drive a mile to the restaurant? Do you have to make a duty?
I'm like, well, I can wait a mile to make a duty, but she would freak out and make sure that we would make a duty before we got into her Cadillac. I don't know why I just told that story, but something about shitting made me think about my grandmother. I never felt like I was her favorite. Definitely wasn't her favorite. My cousin Marcy was her favorite because she was the firstborn. Then my sister, Jennifer was the second. Maybe Scott was the second favorite because he was the only boy. Jen was definitely the third favorite because she always gave her cards and presents. I was the fourth favorite because I was a tomboy and fat. Okay, let's move on. She loved me dearly. I was my grandfather's favorite because I danced the jitterbug and he thought it was really cute. I'll never be okay. No matter how much therapy I do, I'll never be okay. And you know why I think I've been having such a hard time lately is because I gave up sugar and flour. And I feel raw. I've lost a lot of weight and I feel very vulnerable and I don't have the fat to protect me as much. And and I feel really raw and I feel really horny. And I just want to put everything inside of me. I'm so excited for this week's guest. He is seriously, I say this a lot. And I'm so sorry before I bring you into this conversation for everything I just said. And I know he's held in laughs so many times throughout what I just said. So it was torture for him because I watched him hold it in. He's like going to throw up. But this guest who's coming in is so close to my heart. Oh, my neck is killing me. So Jewish. I'm like talking about how much my neck hurts. He is a brother to me. He's not just my friend. He's my best friend, but he's literally my brother. I mean, first of all, we like look alike and sound alike, and we have the same sense of humor. But he has been such a good friend to me for so many years. I mean, we've been friends for 23 years, which is insane. He is first and foremost like the best friend anyone could ever ask for, and I really mean that. I've been through some very, very, very hard times in the 23 years with my sobriety and with relationships. There's been some drama and other things, and no one has stood by me more than this man. And also, he is brilliantly funny. Like, I have laughed so hard from him that I can't even breathe, literally. So many times we've been on the phone where we have to I've literally pulled over my car on highways because we can't stop laughing. And I just love him. We grew up very similar. I can never say this word. Similarly. And I just love him to death. You have to follow him and just follow his social media and go to his shows, and he's amazing. So I want to welcome you, Rich Aronovitch.
Oh, you were introducing me.
Who'd you think I was introducing?
I don't know. I was like, whoever this person is. Fabulous. Thanks for having me.
How did it feel to hear all those compliments?
Horrific.
I know, it's uncomfortable.
Oh my God, I wanted to throw up. I'm not good. I have low self-esteem with a bit of an ego.
Of course.
So I put compliments through my head and then they come out negative. I don't know if you do this.
Of course. Rich.
You should have your own show.
And then I hear, you're a victim. God hates you. That's what I hear.
Yeah. I mean, I totally
What, you on Saturday Night Live?
Yeah. I get it.
Yeah.
And I wanted you to come on because we both do so many characters and we're so insane, both of us. But I wanted you, out of all people, to have you on just to talk. But of course, like Rich and I will probably go into 46 voices because we're out of our minds together. But I wanted us to also just talk and be real.
Well, that's right. You're going to be as real as possible here on the podcast.
Because because I just think it's important for us to be real and to just,
Well, you can be real without having to do, hey, mama. A lot of sound effects and voices. Big problem. You know what I mean? Like it's.
Yeah, you do an incredible Trump.
Who's that?
Well, right now we're doing great things. We're doing a podcast so good it's getting ratings in other stations. When the numbers are fantastic, and we haven't even published. And we're doing great. We're doing great things.
It hasn't even come out yet.
It hasn't even come out. It hasn't published.
He always looks like, what does he look like? His face.
Well, he's a mouth breather. He breathes through his mouth. And he's always putting another dime in the jukebox and then the accordion. He's got to play an accordion and another dime.
I don't know why. And there's 4 words. It's the mouth breathing that I think is the best.
What's the 4 words?
China, Obama, total disaster.
Total disaster.
That's one word. Total disaster. And huge.
Huge is so there's 5.
4.
Oh, no,
Total
that's-
disaster is one word. It's one great word. Fantastic. Big.
Yeah. It's kind of like my kids just learning words.
Yeah.
And I feel like that they could have a great conversation.
In what way?
Big.
Big. You know what I mean?
Huge.
Like that's how
Yeah.
I feel like.
I think so too. So you have how is it having a kid?
It's. I mean, I always say like my love went from walking to flying. I did not think I could love anything more than this child.
Yeah.
And he's like I think he's special. He's a light. He's very happy and smiley, and he's got a sense of humor.
Mm-hmm.
And it's sometimes I'm like it can be you get tired. Like I went to bed last night at 10:30. I don't think I've gone to bed at 10:30 in 20 years.
Yeah.
And also like there's a lot of stuff where you worry on a level like, I was sexually active in the 90s and no big deal. Now if I'm like, please don't look at my kid, you're gonna give him COVID. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
So I'm like I become a little bit like, and yeah, I have to let loose a little bit. Like I'm very
Well, you have anxiety in your family.
undiagnosed. We just call that being Jewish. Holocaust. It's, there's trauma. So there's a lot of, when I grew up where the former Grand Wizard of the Ku Klux Klan got elected. I know you're not being attentive. I know your neck is hurting.
No.
I
It's
could see
okay.
your
My
neck.
neck hurts, but I'm listening. You
No.
said
But when you went like this, I was like, oh,
don't
you
point it
interested.
out. We're doing a podcast.
Okay. We'd like to apologize to all the listeners out there for this moment of awkwardness.
All right, so I was I used to get beat up when I got off the bus
Yeah.
for killing Jesus. And then they
That's
would throw
so horrible.
It's all right. And then they would throw eggs at our house during Passover. And
At
then
least it wasn't bread.
Right. That would have been offensive.
Yeah.
And my grandparents have a horrible story about surviving the Holocaust, and I actually just digitized it, and I'm going to figure out a way I can exploit it
Wow.
and make money off of it.
Really?
No, I'm not going to.
No, they did that?
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. I interviewed my grandmother before she died.
Oh my God, that's incredible.
Yeah, and it took me for years. Like for some reason, I don't know why I had such a trouble, but I finally digitized it, and it's now sitting in like
Oh my
a
God.
few different places. So, Steven Spielberg reached out to her, and she didn't want to be exploited.
Really?
Yeah, and I was like, I could have been in a movie.
She fucked you over. It's horrible.
Yeah, she's a little selfish.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, now she's gone, so.
Yeah, so we can talk about her.
Yeah.
She was funny though. I used to call her, and she goes, "Why are you calling? You never call."
Yeah,
such a
my
stereotype.
Nana Fran did that.
Yeah, why are you
You
calling?
never call your
Yeah.
grandmother.
Yeah, like I'm calling now.
Yeah, I just called you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Literally, we're talking.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wow, it's a lot. But you do have a lot of anxiety in your family.
Yeah, like I told my mom, I go, you should be the host of a game show called Death, Doom, or Destruction because every situation ends in one of those three possibilities. Like literally, I was going to borrow a bag from my friend Al, and she was like, well, if the bag rips, I mean, you're going to lose the friendship, and like they don't probably make the bag anymore, and like then so you're not. And I'm like, I haven't even picked up the bag, and I've already like left. Like I have no friendship.
Friendship's over.
Yeah, I was up for like a radio and TV gig, and she's like, well, if you get fired by the third episode, you know, sometimes these things happen. I'm like, I don't even have the job. I'm fired.
I remember that.
Yeah, I was like, "What?" And she's like, and the problem is I can't really say anything to her because then it just like plays over and over. So
Right.
she's like, Mom, can you not be so negative? And like, oh, and then so who's negative? Like, it's every third comment is like, oh, well, I'm not being negative. You're like, all right. So
Yeah, and the food stuff is a lot. We always talk about that. Everything. The minute I walk in, I told my mom I was coming there today, and she's like, "Well, what are you going to want for dinner?" I
Right.
go, I don't know right now. Well, what do you think you'll want? I'm like, probably a Greek salad with chicken. That's all I eat, or just a salad with chicken. That's all I eat right now. Is that? Well, what kind? What kind? I said just balsamic dress. I mean, I eat the same thing. Okay, well, what kind? I mean, what kind? You sure? Do you want a Greek salad? Or I said, can I just text you tomorrow? Well, I need to know. I need to know.
do you want peppers? Do you need pepper? What kind of peppers? Green? You want green?
Yellow, green, red. Green?
Orange or extra, but I don't mind. I love you. I'll pay for the orange.
Yeah, I can't handle
Yeah,
it.
it's just like order the frickin' salad.
Why
already.
are they so anxious about?
I think my theory is both my parents grew up poor, and food was a survival thing that my dad saw, so he's obsessed with food. Like it's unhealthy, his relationship to food.
Right.
It's nuts. Like he loves
Mine
going
too,
to grocery stores, and then when he cuts food, like when he cooks, like we have to tell him like, hey, we need to eat by 5 so that we can eat by 8 o'clock because it takes him forever. It takes him forever.
We're not like that.
Forever. And when you have a kid, it becomes
that's
a
not
whole
easy.
thing. Yeah.
Do they eat every leftover?
Oh, like yes, it's kind of I see like leftovers and I'm a garbage plate. You know this.
Yeah.
Whenever you see me, you're like, oh, Mike, like I'm like Mikey from the Wheaties commercials back in the 80s or whatever it was. I'll eat anything because it was taught you don't leave over food because that's what my grandmother taught my father.
Right. Well, that's very Holocaust.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you're a Holocaust day. It's a new fashion this season.
So
Holocaust
your
day.
dad's parents were Holocaust survivors?
Yeah. My uncle was killed in front of my grandmother.
Oh, this is just, I mean, I know, this is hard for people to hear, but I know these stories because we've talked about it, and it's just unbelievable.
It's
'Cause
unfathomable.
It's right, because a lot of people don't hear these stories. They don't know people, but
Right.
I know that this is your family. Like this is.
It was really it's really hard. I remember when I was 16, I went to hear Elie Wiesel speak. He wrote the book Night about Auschwitz.
Which is, oh my God, what an experience
Yeah.
that must have been.
And when we were going in, there were people that were saying the Holocaust didn't happen and 6 million lives. And a lot of the current political situation, it triggers a lot of that.
Mm-hmm.
It brings up a lot of, when they say it's historical, it's hysterical, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of stuff that like when I, it's very hard. And my dad was freaking out. He's still nuts. Like he feels very concerned, like in a lot of fear about the political climate and the things that happened in January 6th and blah, blah, blah.
yeah. Yeah, it makes complete sense, especially if you come from that and that's his parents.
And I've been taught mistrust uniforms, mistrust governments, because what is the information that they got? That they'll kill you.
Right. Yeah.
Pass the brisket.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
It's insane.
And my grandfather was charity, would give to charity because he believed in God. So he would not eat for he'd eat every other day, one meal, and they'd come around and he'd give to charity.
Isn't that incredible?
It's nuts.
So crazy. Why do you think that Jewish people are so connected to comedy and humor?
Because we, like you say, we come from pain and loss.
Mm-hmm.
So I did Holocaust jokes to my grandparents and they thought it was like funny.
Right.
But people like to get offended for other people.
I know.
Isn't that amazing?
Explain that, because I love this. When I do jokes about Jewish people or the Holocaust, not jokes about the Holocaust, but whatever, if I refer to something, the non-Jews get offended a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. People, it's a weird phenomenon to get offended. I think it's almost like there's a psychology of like, I want to protect those poor people. Mm-hmm. And you're like, I don't.
But we're laughing about it.
That's the whole thing.
And it's our lives, right?
And that's the art of that's the kind of the therapeutic thing about what we do, is that like when there's something painful and you make it funny, which is why people love watching you because you're real, then they somehow like, we really get to know how you see the world from the inside out, and like nothing can traumatize you because you laugh it off or laugh about it, and then it diffuses it.
Hey there, auto mechanics and super cool do-it-yourself guys who work on their own cars. I want to tell you about rockauto.com, the online store with every auto part at the best prices. This is your one-stop shop for everything auto parts. RockAuto.com has been in business for 20 years, and they make it easy to find the parts you need at the best possible prices. No more talking to counter guys who need to order your parts, aren't really sure what you're looking for, never have quite what you need, and then, after all the hassle, will still charge you storefront markups. At rockauto.com, you can easily find everything you need. And whether you're a mechanic, an auto shop, or working on your own car, everyone has access to the same incredible pricing at rockauto.com. So if you're a car guy, right now, go to rockauto.com and check out all the parts available for your car. You're going to have so much fun looking at car parts. So once more, go to rockauto.com. No promo code needed, as their pricing is already that good. When you order, make sure to tell rockauto.com that you heard about them on Disgusting Hawk. rockauto.com. Okay, let's get back into it. So, I mean, because I grew up like you did, I know, in a family where we laughed constantly.
Constantly. We roast each other.
Yeah,
Constantly.
We do too.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like my dad was difficult a lot, but we all made fun of him, and he would laugh his ass off and take it.
Right. That's what my sister and I, we sit around and we just laugh at them. And they're usually pretty good humor, like they go along with it.
Yeah.
It was like, like the Comedy Cellar used to be like that. Like 10 years ago, I would think.
It was very much like that.
You'd walk in and it was like a roast.
It was too much,
It was brutal, yeah.
I have to tell you, it was too much for me when I was starting out there, because I was petrified to walk in that place.
Yeah.
And I would walk in and, there was a table, there was the comics table, and I would be literally shaking walking up to that table. So I'd rather it be like it is now, where it's safe.
Oh, yeah. And if you tried to sit at that table and they would, like, it was like,
It was very much a men's club, and it was all, these intimidating male comics who would be like, hey, very, very loud. And I would be, I was past there, which means I would get spots, and I was, in the club. And they were tough, and they would make fun of everybody and bust on you. And I was brand new there and pretty new as a comic. And they were not very nice.
Yeah, I mean, when you become friends, like, you can bust chops.
Exactly.
When you have, there's sort of the thing. But it's like, I don't know. I mean, I feel like I sound like an old person, going like, well, how come everyone's so sensitive nowadays? But it really does, like, everyone feels very sensitive to me.
Not everyone.
I'm sorry, not everyone.
It's true. Not everyone. But there are a bunch, and we happen to be in New York.
Right.
I travel all over the country, and it is definitely not like this in most places.
Correct.
It is very sensitive here.
Right.
With some people.
You think it's sensitive in New York?
Some people here
Yeah.
some people. A lot aren't. Like, the most of the crowd that comes to the Comedy Cellar, they're comedy fans, and they know what to expect, and they don't get sensitive. But
I guess it's also,
you go to Brooklyn and some other places.
Oh, Brooklyn, forget it.
Very sensitive.
You use a daily participle, and that really upsets me.
Yeah, it's hard. You know what I have a hard time with is the people that expect everyone else to know the terms and all that other shit, and get very angry immediately instead of just being patient. Also, they expect everyone to have the same views as them.
Right.
And they get enraged when you don't have the same views. The beauty of our country is that you have a right to feel however you want to feel, and that it's open, and that it's, we have freedom here. Because I've said this on previous podcasts and on other people's podcasts I've done recently, as I'm working on a documentary about female comedians around the world. And let me tell you something. it opened my eyes because I've interviewed some comedians from other countries, like in Jordan, female comedians in Jordan, and there's not a couple, and in Abu Dhabi, and in I mean all over in these countries, you wouldn't even believe there's female comics, and they have the government shows up.
Yep. And watches
and they
them.
have to sign paperwork, and they're not allowed to talk about the government or the royal family, or they're not allowed to curse or talk about sex. We are so fucking privileged here, and people take it for granted.
Yeah.
And it really changed my views on a lot of things. And so
you could
yeah.
say our president's an idiot, and I don't have to worry about being murdered. Right?
Beheaded. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
And there's you
or
don't-
raped or have
right.
your whole family be killed. Yeah.
You don't hear about a lot of things because they just disappear.
Right.
And it happens all over the world.
All
And
day.
it's, yeah.
Yeah.
And people are not like, what, really? Yeah.
Right. And then people are like, you shouldn't do a joke about
Right.
bulimia because it's really offensive. Like,
Right.
it's shut up.
Right. Right.
Don't tell me what I can and can't joke about. No.
And that's why when you say you should be bowling, you're right.
Well, right. I say
Yeah.
to the audience, some of you shouldn't be here.
Yeah.
And it's okay. I get it. You're allowed to be offended.
But like if you don't like
Just
horror
don't
movies and you don't
go.
like being scared, don't go to see
I don't
Friday
go
the 13th.
I don't go to horror movies and I don't watch them.
Right.
That's why I don't. They freak me out and they
Right.
traumatize me. I don't watch horror movies because they're not good for me.
Right.
I don't watch the news because it traumatizes me. If you think you're going to get offended at a comedy show and a lot of things upset you, don't go.
Right.
Don't go. It's very simple.
Right.
I hear you. I get it that things upset you.
Yeah.
It's okay.
It's the same responsibility I have when I read comments on social media.
yes.
When someone literally wants me to die because I'm using my First Amendment.
I got one
right.
yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They want me to die.
Yeah.
Or, I should be stabbed in the head, which is,
Yeah.
there's not a lot of meat on the head. So it's a very painful death to be stabbed.
That's a bad one.
Yeah, and then you report them, and they're like, "No, there's nothing. There's nothing wrong with that."
I
You're like,
reported someone yesterday.
yeah, the worst is when you report them because I don't report, and then I'm like, "This is." They threaten me with violence, right? So it had to really be nothing. No, but if I put on a wig and put paper clips instead of nails, I'm bullying, which,
Yeah.
you know what I mean.
Yeah.
That's very upsetting to me.
I don't even know if someone gets banned or not because I block them. So I don't even know if after I report them if they.
It's so empowering to remove someone from your life like that.
Yeah.
You're like, okay, thank you for flying Kirson Airlines.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Yeah.
You're
yeah. I've gotten some. It's incredible. You know what's happened to me? I posted some stuff about the Chris Rock thing, not just saying that it wasn't okay, and nothing to do with Jada's. I mean, whatever with the alopecia. I mean, it was just crazy to me that he went up and slapped. It was insane. It doesn't matter. But some women, some black women went after me because they said I was trashing her. I did not trash her at all. Of course, I'm sensitive to her problem. It was more the fact that he went up and slapped Chris Rock in the face. It was insane to me that someone did that. But then their horrific, mean-spirited, horrible comments to me about my looks were so crazy.
Yeah.
So it's like, on the one hand, these women were saying to me, I didn't even comment about her look. She's stunning to me, that woman, Jada. She's stunning. Like, she's gorgeous. She looks incredible. And they were like, how dare you go off on her? And then the comments to me were unbelievable about my face and my skin and my looks and everything. It's just, people are so mean-spirited.
Do you think that the anonymity of putting it on a screen, not seeing your reaction, has anything to do with it?
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
No one, who would say that to my face?
Oh, I had a guy say it to my face.
What did they say? No one would ever. I don't
They
think
said I was the
anyone-
worst comedian he's ever seen. And
After a show?
After a show. Yeah, I thought he was, I did well. I thought he was coming to kiss my ass.
I've had people
I thought
say
he wanted
things
to
like
buy a CD, and I don't even sell them. So I thought he was coming up to me like he had this energy. I was like, yes, you were in the room, yes. Would you like me to sign something? A picture, selfie? Perhaps I can touch you with the hand of God because I'm funny. And I mentioned his Peloton shirt, and I talked about how I look like a melted candle or whatever. And I made it about me, but I used his shirt, and I think he thought I was somehow, which didn't make sense. And I did something that I didn't know I could do, which is oh, I'm not for you. I get it. I'm selling meat. You're a vegetarian. Thank you for expressing your right to express your opinion and not doing it to my face. And I think you misunderstood. I was really talking about me and my problems and had nothing to do with you. I used your shirt. Maybe that was a mistake. But, my first thought was like, well, let's go take us outside. I'll give you a 40-minute head start, fat fuck. You know what I mean? Like I wanted to attack him.
Yeah.
And instead I went, he's hurt. He didn't come here to get hurt. He misunderstood. He's lost, he's had some struggle. He lost a bunch of weight. I said, look, you look amazing. I didn't,
But what did he say to you?
You're the worst comedian. He had an English accent. And I always say the British complain like Jews, but with better accents. You're the worst comedian I've ever seen. Your style's crap. It went out in the 80s, but was just kind of like went after me.
Wow.
And my ego was on me for 3 days, being like, why didn't you say? And I said, and I could see that by me being kind to him was way worse than me being mean to him.
Absolutely.
It fucked him up.
What was his response?
It was like he didn't know how to respond.
Right.
Because I was like, thank you for, my intention was not to do that. I am obviously here to give you some endorphins and serotonin. And I didn't, for you, I didn't do my job, and I apologize. You got hurt.
That's because you work on yourself.
You got that right, lady.
I'm serious.
Yep. It was, and then I left, and my ego was like, "You're weak. You're a doormat." Like for like 2 days, and my friend was like, "No, you did something that
You
was
did, yeah.
And then
You did
also,
the right thing.
and he didn't, and he left. He didn't leave going like I told him. He went, "I just shit on a nice guy. I just attacked a nice person."
He did.
Yeah, and I could tell he was sort of like, well, it wasn't the worst. It's just like I could see he was trying to backpedal, but like, and hold on to his stance, and it would just confuse him.
He sat with that.
Yep. And when people say like, you're like, I do these, crazy dance videos, it gets me a lot of attention, whatever, and they're like, this isn't funny. I'm like, I agree. I think this is stupid. People like it. I don't get it. And it's not. They're like, well, yeah. I'm like, oh, dude, you can't hate me more than I hate me. Trust me.
I do
I've
that
won
too.
This. Yeah.
I do that too. People like, you suck. I'm like, I know.
Yeah.
Trust me.
Yep.
There's nothing you can say to me
Yep.
that it's not worse than what I say to myself.
And the other thing I do, which is like I'm wearing a tutu and a onesie, and I'm like, oh, I didn't know I was being filmed.
Yeah, Rich does these dance videos online. You guys have to check them out. We'll give everyone the handles before you get off. But it's hysterical. You're like, I had no idea.
I had no idea.
Yeah, I was dancing around and someone secretly filmed me. Yeah. That's crazy.
Like I had one where I fell into the pool and my thing was like, wait for it. He's like, wait for what? I'm like, I fell into a pool? Like I thought that would... And we just started going back. I'm like, why am I arguing with someone who wants to be angry? Like, okay, yeah. And then on another one, there was a wait for it. He's like, wait for what? I'm like, for you to comment. That was all I said to him.
For you to come on my face.
Yeah, for you to come on my face. Ugh.
Oh, it's a little salty.
Why is it so salty? What did you have? White fish?
No, it was the balsamic. I said just a little vinegar. Hold on, let me have a bite.
Oh, don't do that. We both talk about how our parents make noises with their mouths. Oh my God, it's so...
We should make like a song, and like that should be like...
No, what do you have special? Ugh. Grilled salmon with no grill marks. What? I want to boost my only owner.
Something like...
I love that so much.
I actually had... I told you this story.
What?
When I waited tables, and there was this couple who walked in, and their opening line was, "Everything has too much pepper." And I was like... And this is across from Lincoln Center. We have a show. I know you have a show.
I remember when you worked there.
Yes, it was hell.
This was 20 years ago.
1999.
What else did they say?
So they said everything has too much. Okay, all right. So now this is, by the way, everyone has a show to go to, and they gave me two table. So all at different times because you're supposed to bribe the
I remember
guy.
that.
And I didn't. I always bribed them what they were supposed to. And everyone's like, "You didn't give them extra money." I was like, "Oh, you're supposed to." I was like, "This is already crazy." Anyways, so they said everything is. Then they ordered a red snapper. No, they ordered salmon, and it came out, and it goes, "This is red snapper." I'm like, "It's not red. It's no," and. And then I said to the chef, and the chef was like this coked out Italian crazy person. Like he's like, "Fire up the salad, red what? And he came out and he goes, ma'am, this is a red snapper. This is a salmon. Which shift do you want? And they ordered it with no grill marks. They literally said, I want a grilled salmon with no grill marks. I'm like, what do you want, a floating fucking fish? How the fuck am I supposed to? A grilled salmon with no grill marks. So, chef, could you hover this salmon above the grill while you have 4,000 other people who are trying to make a show in an hour? So he brings it out. He puts some pan underneath. Then, as soon as they go, we want pepper. I go, everything here is too much pepper. You want pepper? All the pepper mills were broken, and I bought a little one. There was like a store in it, and so I go to give him the fresh pepper, and like, no, we want the big one. And I'm like, it's travel time. It's the same pepper. It's literally going to fall from here to here versus here to here.
Travel time.
It's travel time. You're going to make me run around the restaurant. And then they wanted the mousse, this chocolate mousse bucket, weighs 75.
Bucket.
Yeah, you had to slop it on like you're like in a fine dining restaurant.
Yeah,
There you go. Just do it. And then when they asked for the specials, it was like you were describing monkey brains. Like, no. Ugh. You know what I mean? Like, no. And so they tipped, of course, 7% or whatever, which was very generous for the service. And I had nightmares about them for years.
I remember. I totally remember.
I made a short film about that. Like, I was nuts. I hated them so much. I'm like, this is why. And I made, inappropriate jokes about them. But yeah.
Yeah, you did jokes about them. I remember.
Yeah, they were because I took pain and made it funny. Maybe we can go back. But it was. I don't know how people. I think everyone. It should be mandatory that you have to at least work in a restaurant for a week. Just to understand.
Remember, I worked for at Houlihan's in Times Square. Horrible.
Yep.
With all the tourists.
Yeah. First of all, you're going to Houlihan's in New York.
I had to wear tan pants and a and a maroon shirt that said Houlihan's. And everyone's like, "Can I please have a strawberry daiquiri?" I had fucking pina coladas all over me. I was. And then and none of them tipped because it was all tourists. And then I worked at Ernie's, remember, on the Upper West Side for years.
Yep.
And there were like mice everywhere, and I was carrying up like cases of bottles from downstairs. It was a fucking nightmare.
So I got fired from that job.
Yeah.
And I went back the next day. I went to the fridge and I stole the mousse bucket. I literally just walked in, didn't say a word to anybody, grabbed the mousse bucket, left in a cab. And the next day they're like, we're going to arrest you, a felony. And I'm like, I'll bring back your stupid mousse bucket. But the story.
What made you steal the mousse bucket?
Because I was so angry. So there was a waiter that looked like me. Now this is, I was not a great waiter. But there was a waiter that looked like me.
Yeah.
And he was drunk. And he was saying all kinds of inappropriate things. And they complained about me. They complained about him, but they used they pointed to me, and I'm like, that's not even my section. So I got fired for someone else's thing, and I was like, look at the section. I did not talk to this person the whole shift. Like I did not. Anyway, so then I still it was like sort of like a famous story about the people at this place.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I mean I'm that's very petty. That's why that's kind of stuff that I need to work on.
Yeah. Well, you can obsess about it's not a little thing, but you can get angry about something and it's hard for you to let things go. I mean, I'm like that too. I obsess. We call each other every day. One of us is upset about something and can't let it go.
I used to have an app that tells me who's unfollowed me on Instagram. Do you know how sick
to kill
that is?
you when you did that.
Do you know how sick that is? I was just like, let me be upset all day. Why did this person unfollow me? I mean, I can't believe it. But and I call up people. I was like, hey, do we have a problem? Why? And they're like, no, I got rid of the app.
Rich, when you did that, I was like, he needs to stop looking at this.
It's not. Yeah, you told me.
Because it's so upsetting. And you know what? I don't unfollow, but I do mute people because
mute away.
I know.
Why are you unfollowing me?
I know.
I
don't want to know.
I don't want to know. And I stopped doing. I mean, I graduated to the next level of my life, so I cannot care or look.
Yeah.
But that's a sickness.
But it's hard. It's hard not to look at things. I'm addicted to social media.
Yeah.
I am.
Yeah.
Are you?
right now I'm like, should I put up a new post? I mean, the other post didn't do well,
I
but should I
know.
put up a new post? I mean, this was, but the algorithm, algo, all freaking day. We're trying to figure out, like, how do I get more numbers on TikTok? I need all the numbers. I mean, I can't understand why.
What is I'm so confused.
So the algorithm is this computer thing that they're changing every 3 seconds. So like originally they're like, post your things at this time and that time. And once people sort of figure it out, they'll change it.
Right.
So you can't figure it out. That's the whole point of it.
I know.
So they're like little tricks, like use the new song. If you do it, none of it works. None of it
doesn't work because they say to do it at certain times and it doesn't work.
It doesn't matter. And then I say, well, different for different people, and then put the follow. And at the end of the day, I have to go, am I having fun? Am I helping? I mean, I had this woman saying, my sister's dying of cancer,
Yeah,
and we're
I know.
watching your videos and
Yeah.
laughing. And then when I get like, stab him in the head, I'll be like, you're not.
That's how I am,
Yeah,
too.
you have to remove that person from your life and go, I'm here to help. That's all I'm doing.
I feel the exact same way.
Like, what do I think? I'm going to end up on a show on like a major network, and then they're going to cut my episode? Oh,
Yeah.
wait, that happened.
Oh, that happened to you
Yeah, that
last
happened.
week.
That happened last week.
Yeah.
It's okay. There's something better in store.
Yeah.
Or I'm a victim. Anyways, but that's, yeah.
I know. It's really because none of it makes any sense. Like I've had a video, like, you have a video you think is the funniest thing you ever did and it'll get like 300 views and then you have something you think is so like nothing and it'll
Right.
go viral. It's crazy.
And the thing that I forget is on a selfish level, people are watching. People are seeing your stuff. Mm-hmm. Like I went to some, like, whatever. I was trying to work out a set and I walked and the dude was like, I watch you. I follow. And I was like, me? Yeah. And then like, look, could take a picture. I'm like, wow. I had no idea. People really are watching. And I made a deal with myself. I'm like, I don't want to be a victim because I'm not where I want to be in my career, but I have control of my work ethic. So I try to put out a new video every day. It's a lot of heavy lifting.
Yeah, but you know what? You are someone who does the work. You really put a lot out there, and a lot of people don't. They don't, and they're very half-assed about it.
And they complain. And
they complain constantly.
Yeah.
And, a lot of people will put out a new video, but it's like shitty. It's not, they're kind of half-assed. Like you really put so much work into it, and things are happening. There is energy coming to you, for sure. I'm telling you, there is.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's hard to be patient. Mm-hmm. After
It's very
so many
hard.
years.
I totally understand.
Yeah.
It is very hard. This business is unbelievably hard.
Hard not to compare yourself to people.
Very, very. I mean, I've done a lot. And no matter where you are in this business and what you've done, I still can look. I can look at, all of us can. I can look at Instagram and look at someone's post, their poster, who's been doing it half as many years as I have. They can't even fit the amount of theaters they're doing on their post. Sold out is across every single date except for like 4. Mm-hmm. And they're doing it maybe 10 years and I'm doing it 23. Mm-hmm. And they're sold out at theaters, 2,000 seats all over the country. Mm-hmm. A woman who has no kids, who has no responsibility. I mean, we all, no matter what you've done, no matter what level you're at, and then they'll still complain, when I see them. I can't believe I didn't get this sitcom that I'm like, are you fucking kidding?
Right.
I have to tell you, out of anything that bothers me, it's people, and there's so many of them that work constantly, that I'm not exaggerating, make millions of dollars, that complain.
Because it
There's
doesn't
a lot
fill
of
the
them.
hole.
It doesn't. It never does.
There's a big giant hole that we think success will fill. I had one good thing happen and I went, this didn't touch. Didn't touch it.
Yeah.
I went, now maybe because I was expecting like, okay, I'm setting myself up. If it doesn't work out, it's not going to be, we talk about like that movie Jerry Maguire.
Yeah.
Where he's got one client named Cush and he keeps saying, Cush saves all. I can't make anything my Cush. Cush saves all. So I was like, okay, if this doesn't work, it to be okay. And then it happened. It was positive, and I went, ooh, this doesn't feel like I'm not going, yes!
Yeah.
Next level. Come
It
on.
never
Pelvic
does.
thrust. Yeah. I did nothing.
Nothing. And people don't know that. They don't know that about us. No matter what. I mean, I know people who are famous who have 3 homes. It doesn't. That nothing will fill that hole ever.
And I think the people that get that success and it doesn't fill their hole, they're a nightmare.
Nightmare.
Because they get to the top of the mountain, they go, oh gosh,
Yeah.
This is the wrong mountain.
Now what?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. We've talked about that a lot.
Yeah.
You and I. That's so true.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's hard to be around those people for sure. I totally I'm around that a lot. These miserable, successful people.
You need to get some gratitude in your life. Need to get some gratitude in your life. Get some gratitude, change your attitude. Because you suck to be around.
I really just adore you so much. I love you. I want you to what?
I can't wait to, as soon as we're done, start judging everything that just happened, start giving myself the negative reviews, going, it should have been funnier, you should have done more voices, you were real, but were you too real? That's what I do every time.
I'm not happy with anything you did, so I want you to leave here judging yourself.
That actually feels more comfortable.
I'm happy with
Beat me.
everything you did. I love you, and you could not have been better. I wanted this to be real. I wanted everyone to get to know you. I want you to keep coming back because it works if you work it.
Where do I leave $1?
Work it, you're worth it.
I'm going to leave $1 on the desk.
I just adore you, and I want everyone that's listening to follow you. Please follow Rich right now. Can you wake up? We're almost done. Follow. He just fell asleep on the microphone. If you're if you're listening and not watching, stop treating it like it's a penis. Follow.
Oh yes, Netflix.
Follow
Comedy
Rich
Central.
right now. Tell everyone where they can follow you.
Rich is funny. It's one word on all platforms, even if you want to go to my website, richisfunny.com, Rich is funny, hashtag on Twitter, Rich is funny on Instagram. What is that, cocaine right away? Rich is funny on TikTok. Rich is funny on...
You have to watch him. He does dancing videos that are fucking hilarious. He's fearless. He's an incredible stand-up. He'll be at the Cellar a lot coming up in New York City. We've done a ton of videos together. I know a lot of you know that. They're all on my Instagram. And just follow him. Rich is funny. And
your fans are awesome.
They're amazing, aren't they?
They're like
great.
when they move over to the Rich is Funny platform.
Yeah.
They're really awesome.
They're very loyal.
interactive. Yeah.
I know. They're interactive.
They're really great.
They're loyal and they're good people. They're humanitarians.
They're great people. They're really great people. And they pay their taxes, sometimes not on time, but that's okay. Because they're doing great things.
Yeah.
They're doing fantastic things. They're disgusting hooks.
Yes, they're incredible. I love my
They're
fans.
big birds.
Thank you guys for listening and watching. I love you, Rich.
I love you. And and all of Jessica's fans more. Just give her money. You don't need
just
it.
give me fucking money.
She's got like, she's got like an orphanage.
I do. Thank God they're all good looking. That's all that matters. I love saying that. Isn't that insane?
It's the outsides that count.
Yeah, that's all that matters.
It's
they
the
all
outsides.
have great eyes. Nuts.
They're funny, but they're funny.
Thank God they're all thin. All right. You guys are amazing. I love you all. Thank you so much for listening and watching. Thank God they all have a wonderful figure.
They're wearing lap bands. You don't call them belts. Put lap bands right on them. They had pre-surgery.
Have a great week.